Oh yeah, 29 minutes on to 7 o'clock. It's that time again. Wow, another week has elapsed on us. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all my people. How are we doing this morning? I do hope that everything is a-okay with you. Yeah, I really, really hope that, everything is good. Yeah, and even if everything is not good, keep in mind that you're not doing too bad, all right? Nice. 7 o'clock workers, you've got 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes. You've got 18 minutes. No, what's wrong with me? 13 minutes, yeah, to be on time. And when I say to be on time, it means really professionally, all right? You've got to be on the job at least 15 minutes before it's time for production, before it's time for that you start producing. So come on, surprise the boss today and make it, I wouldn't say make it worse, make it better. Today is actually the rolling out of the bi-monthly payment, yeah. So you would want to impress the boss today, so that the boss would say, wow, he is early today, man. She's early. She deserves the early payment. Yeah, good morning to you, Catherine Phillip. She says good morning, Catherine. How are you? Nice. So let's get into the meat of the matter this morning. Let's see what's happening. The word of the day today. It's a nice word. Yeah. And I promise you, as I think it was Mr. Who's that person? Cox Osplund. Yeah. That word mama guy. We'll look at that word next week, alright? I always thought it was just a slang, Don't mama guy me, eh? But I'm getting to understand that it's really a word. That's education for me. Didn't know that. Thought it was just, one of those slangs, Papi, don't mama guy me. You gonna check me in Truto. So the word of the day today is the word foible. Foible. It is a noun and it is spelled F-O-I-B-L-E. Foible. Now, foibles are minor flaws or shortcomings in character or behavior. In fencing, foible may refers to the part of a sword's blade between the middle and the point, which is considered the weakest part. Foible. Here's how we can use that word in a sentence. He was amused daily by the foibles of his eccentric neighbor. So remember, it is a noun. That means it is a naming word, okay? And it refers to minor flaws or shortcomings in character or behavior. I've got loads of foibles, man, but I'm working on them. Yeah. Nice. And let's now look at the thought of the day. The thought of the day today. A normal person focuses on the worries of next month or next year. But a wise will focus on opportunities in the next 24 hours to avoid them. Yeah, I like this one. A normal person will focus on the worries of next month or next year. But a wise one will focus on opportunities in the next 24 hours to avoid the worries of next month or next year. That's nice. Yeah, coming to think of it. Because we know that problems will come, not if or when. Not if or but when. Worries will come, problems will come. They're inevitable. Make up part of the structure called life. Yeah, so we know they're going to come. What is important is the way we prepare for them when they come. All right? as Blossom would say, you have to preparate yourself. Morning, Blossy. How are you and the family this morning? Hope you all are doing fine. All the best for the day. Yeah, stop worrying too much about things that have not occurred as yet. Some folks worry and they make it a serious worry. What would happen to me when I retire? What would happen to me if I lose my job? What would happen to me if I lose my wife or my husband? Partners, you're worrying about something that ain't happened yet. You have worry in advance. All right, let's see what's buzzing this morning. Police are investigating a hanging in Grand Bacolet, St. Andrew. The discovery was made by a relative on Thursday morning. Sad. What was he worrying about? What was he, bothered about? Something that hasn't happened as yet? Well, our condolences are extended to the family. It's sad. Losing a loved one, no matter what the circumstances are. It's always a difficult, tough, and trying period. So I encourage you to be strong, be there for each other, be each other's support, be each other's shoulder to cry on. Cry if you have to. It's all part of the healing process, all right? Also buzzing this morning, the media fraternity in Grenada is getting some much needed attention as government includes media workers in its minimum wage discussions. Well, that sounds nice. Good morning, Dr. Colin Gilchrist. You good, puppy? Nice. Good. What else is buzzing? Sabrina Francis to perform in London. Congratulations to Sabrina. I know your mom, Lady Empress, will be so proud of you, man. All right, Sabrina Francis joins the prestigious ranks with only 2 other Grenadians as she prepares to grace the stage of the Royal Albert Hall in London. And that's good. That augurs well for Grenada. It shows Grenada is really, really rounded. We have the likes of a Jamo and Black Wizard and Talpri and Mr. Killer and now the new generation, Vaughn and Boise. They're all doing so well. Looney Spark and Electrify. My good partner there, Shanti Mel. What's his name again? He is the reigning soca monarch, Terra the Governor. They've made their names. They've carved Grenada's place in the music industry in terms of soca and calypso. But we have other folks now showing up in different genres. Sabrina, Zorina, Sonaika, Tamara, Laurel. That's good. Grenada. What a place, eh? Grenada is now also being recognized as one of 13 countries that has pure air, the best air to breathe. Wow. Go, Grenada. 20 minutes on to 7 o'clock, and the first installment of semi-monthly payments for government employees and pensioners will roll out today, Friday the 14th of April. One of the concerns about this new implementation is the effect it would have on fees from financial institutions. Yeah. Even the roses, they've got thorns with them, huh? That's how life gets balanced, There's always a give and a take, That's the way the cookie crumbles. Yeah. All right, the RGPF is advocating adherence to its no-burn policy as the dry season intensifies. The fire department says there is an increase in bushfires, which puts a strain on the already limited sources of water. The no-burn policy took effect on April 1st. Yeah, don't even burn your pot in your house. Okay, so folks, on a serious note, it's imperative that we pay particular attention to that. Things are already tough, things are already hard, and we don't want to be reading in the news that, someone lost their entire, worldly possessions to fire that could have been avoided, So be careful, adhere to the law. All right? Obey the law or else. So as we wrap up this segment, we head into the AM edition of News, Sports, and the Weather here in Classic. Those of you who are on the television platform, we've got a rebroadcast of last evening's television news. Quickly, let's see what's happening before I run off on the Facebook page. Good morning, Mr. Joseph. Wishing you and the rest of the GBN family a blessed and an enjoyable weekend. That's Anne-Marie Thomas. Good morning, Anne-Marie. Yvonne Courtney says good morning. Monet Williams, good morning, GBN, Grenada Broadcasting Network, Gordon, Mr. Innocent, the viewers near and far across the globe. Happy Friday to each and every one of you. Still finishing up my shift for the morning. Staffs, so I'm taking a little peep. Would look at rerun to see what I missed. Have you all selves a fantastic weekend and be safe. Bye for now from New York. All right, Cheryl Cato says, good morning. A pleasant good morning to you, Cheryl. Hi, St. Joseph. Good morning, Mr. Joseph. I am asking you to appeal to the person or persons with the goats on the loose in the Charlotte Vale, Epping Forest area. Okay, it's destroying my beans and other crops that I am trying to grow in this dry time. Ask them to tie them, please. Or you tie on tether your animals, okay? Good. All right, folks, we've got to break it off here. We've got the news coming up, so stick and stay with us. We're with you anywhere and everywhere. Bye for now.
For when you need someone to help you to your feet, I'll be that beacon to your highest peak. Oh, I'll be right next to you, no, I will never leave. Come on, take my hands, we got everything we need. Cause you can look to me, whenever you're in need. Just call on me and I'll be on my way. I'll be by your side, never to divide. The light that shines our way. Wherever you there with you, wherever you road me, we'll make your dreams come true. Next time, next to you.
Nexa Credit Union, with you wherever your road leads.
Thanks for joining us. Police are investigating a hanging in Grand Bacolet in St. Andrew. The discovery was made by a relative on Thursday morning. My colleague Christina John visited the area and spoke with grieving relatives who are trying to come to terms with the incident.
The body of a man identified as 58-year-old Richard Kadu, a.k.a. Marop, a landscaper, was discovered hanging in a shed close to his dwelling house on Thursday morning. His brother, Donald Kadu, made the discovery. Donald told GBN it was habitual for his brother to call him whenever he got home. However, he found it odd that he didn't hear him last night. The two lived in the same house. The last time they spoke was early in the day on Wednesday.
For the past 3 weeks now, he was saying that he tired of life and he would take his life because he fed up with life. Well, me and him sleeping together every night. I wake up, last night now, I waking up now. Every half an hour, I shining inside the MCPMD, but he wasn't there. So this morning I wake up about 5 o'clock. And I watch inside, you know. That's when he come in now, he always call me. But last night I find he was strange. He don't call me. So this morning when I wake up now, I see he was hanging there.
Another close friend of the deceased says he showed no signs of disturbance. He described him as his good friend.
Right? I speak to him, I tell him go and take a sleep, you know. Don't drink no more. He asked me for $20. I still have the $20 in my pocket. I tell him I can't give him no more money to drink rum. Yeah. I say go and take a rest. Tomorrow is another day. We'll drink rum tomorrow. Yeah, he didn't listen to us, and me and his brother talk to him. Yeah, we leave and come inside. Get up this morning to go to work. As I getting ready to go, somebody come and knock. When I go inside, somebody come and knock the door, and Go outside, you see hanging in the garage, you know, check. That same day, I didn't go look for him. I can't fix it.
The RGPF has visited the scene and their investigations are ongoing. Following this morning's hanging, young pastor Javon Noel had this advice for people going through some form of emotional distress.
Individual for some time because I used to be here back and forth and so forth, and he's a cool person and such. My advice to people of Grenada is that we need to stop abuse alcohol, because he was an individual that used to be in the alcohol a lot, and you know, alcohol is something you get the best of you when you take too much. And advising people, young people, elderly people, old people, whoever, that when you're dealing with issues that you cannot deal with on your own, seek some help from somebody. Talk to somebody that you know that you can trust. Somebody, seek some help from somebody that could be able to give you some proper advice, so that at the end of the day that you could be able to better manage yourself in the situation.
Chrislina John, GBN News.
Other news. In March 2022, the Sustainable Road-Based Public Transport Plan for Grenada was launched by the then Keith Mitchell-led administration. Officials came together and conducted a thorough assessment of the public transport sector with a view to establishing a well-structured, regulated, and inclusive public transportation system. GBN sought an update on the study during a recent press conference with officials of the NDC administration. Nisha Paul reports.
The initiative formed part of country-level case studies undertaken by the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, in Grenada and St. Lucia, taking a closer look at the challenges affecting the quality and efficiency of public transport services. Multi-criteria planning, also called MCRIT, a Spain-based consulting firm, was among a consortium of consulting firms selected for the 54-week project to provide recommendations for improvements. Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, who recently took over as Minister for Infrastructure and Physical Development, Public Utilities, Civil Aviation and Transportation, a position previously held by Dennis Cornwall, is now tasked with the responsibility to look into the study.
I have not seen the results of the study as yet, and so I'm not in a position to, in fact, react to the question. But I can assure you, once the results of this survey or study are in and we've reviewed it, we will certainly be engaging with the Bus Owners Association and the other operators of buses in Grenada.
Commuters have been clamoring for better public transportation systems, while the Grenada Bus Owners Association continue to cry out for better roads and policy direction on contentious issues such as pirating and saturation on some of the routes.
Grenada is in a unique situation where we call it public transportation, but it's all privately owned. And that obviously creates a challenge, because if it's all privately owned, it basically means that it is and will be driven by the need to cover your costs and to make a profit on it.
The Prime Minister noted the fundamental importance of public transportation to economic development in the country. He explains some of the other issues that need to be factored into the discussions with various stakeholders.
We are not using, as it stands currently, vehicles that are electric or solar powered, or that are using new age efficient low carbon energy type fuels. Those are issues we have to address. The government itself, most of its vehicles still burn gas and diesel and so on. So there are a lot of issues we have to look at. If we are going to grow things like the tourism sector and so on, having reliable transportation at night is critical, because if we're going to have entertainment, if we're going to have activities and so on, people need to be able to get to and fro at an affordable cost. So it's a major challenge, but it's one that we are keen to tackle and take on, and I expect in the not too distant future we will begin the engagement with stakeholders, starting with the Bus Owners Association.
Public Relations Officer of the National Bus Owners Association, Derek McKenzie, told GBN on Thursday that the association is expected to reach out to the government via letter on Friday in a bid to begin dialogue on the contentious issues. For GBN News, I'm Nisha Paul.
The media fraternity in Grenada is getting some much-needed attention as government includes media workers in its minimum wage discussions. Jerry Blackman-Stephen has this report.
President of the Media Workers Association of Grenada, Gerard Joseph, is welcoming news that media workers' salaries will be looked at in government's minimum wage consultations. Chairman of the Wage Advisory Committee, Dr. Colin Gilchrist, announced on Wednesday that government is putting the spotlight on varying categories of workers, which, for the first time, will include media personnel. Joseph told GBN this is long overdue.
The executive of the Media Workers Association of Grenada has held preliminary talks with the chairman of the Minimum Wage Committee, Colin Gilchrist, on including media workers to ensure they get benefits, whatever benefits can be derived from the discussions and implementation of a new minimum wage. We welcome any thrust by the Minimum Wage Committee.
The issue of minimum wage is one ignored for over 11 years, and Grenada's minimum wage and wage levels remain the lowest within the OECS. Dr. Colin Gilchrist is chairman of the Wage Advisory Committee.
The media industry and the media professionals, that's a category we have recognized that should get some attention, and they will be specifically mentioned in the law in terms of the minimum salary payable. We are going to set in law the minimum wage or salary payable for the providing of a basket of services. Government is not leaving certain things. You can't leave it to just the demand and supply to determine the wage. All right, you do have employers who may not be nice. Let me put it this way. Yeah? I may just choose to to pay you a wage that you don't deserve.
Dr. Gilchrist on GBN's To The Point on Wednesday said the public consultations on the minimum wage have opened their eyes to the realities of some employees in the country.
In the era geriatric care, caring for the elderly, workers they complain about being paid very, very low wages in the context of the what they have to do, and wages being discussed at those consultations as low as $700 and $800 per month. Wow. Workers are saying after that, after the statutory deductions, like the take-home pay is all $400 and $500. Those were alarming revelation.
Dr. Gilchrist said government is not promoting any increase in salary. What the people need is a just share of the generation of wealth created by virtue of their hard work. He also reminds employees that they must increase and maintain their level of productivity. He said the concept of the advisory committee and government is moving from a minimum wage to a living wage. Cherry and Blackman-Stephen, JBN News.
The story to report, Sabrina Francis joins the prestigious ranks with only 2 other Grenadians as she prepares to grace the stage at the Royal Albert Hall in London. Here's the report.
2023 is on track for becoming a truly momentous year for Sabrina Francis as she continues to scale new heights with her music. The artist's most recent cause to celebrate comes via an invitation to support Asa, the soulful Nigerian French singer, songwriter, and recording artist at the Royal Albert Hall. Sabrina joins the prestigious ranks of only 2 other Grenadians, Paul Kins Douglas, author and storyteller, and Jennifer Hostin, Miss World 1970, known to have graced the stage of the Royal Albert Hall, making Sabrina the first Grenadian musician to perform at the illustrious venue. It's one of London's most iconic performance venues. The performance is scheduled for May 24th this year.
That I will be performing at the Royal Albert Hall on the 24th of May. And I was super excited to find out, and it was birthed from doing one of my kitchen concerts. That just goes to show that you never know who's in the audience. So you perform with all of your heart, and yeah, I can't wait. I really can't wait. It's remarkable. You can't prepare for things like these. I mean, I can prepare musically, but there's no way to expect these types of opportunities. But anyway, I'm opening for Asha. I'm super excited.
Sabrina is currently in the United Kingdom and wraps up her UK tour with a performance at Extinction Rebellion, Victoria Park on April 22nd. She will be back home in Grenada in preparation mode for her performance at the Caracou Maroon Festival on April 29th, followed by Sabrina's Treehouse concert on May 6th and her annual wide-open concert carded for May 14th, before returning to the UK for the Royal Albert Hall debut. Christelina John, GBN News.
First installment of semi-monthly payments for government employees and pensioners will roll out on Friday. One of the concerns about this new implementation is the effect it would have on fees from financial institutions. Will Von Granger, Chief Experience Officer at Grenada Cooperative Bank, explained that financial institutions will not impose any additional charges, and that employees and pensioners will have the flexibility to choose how deductions are made.
To answer your question specifically, the answer is no. At a resounding no. What we have done is to reach out to all of our customers. We have started that process already. That government employees who are customers of Grenada Cooperative Bank, and in the event that you have a credit facility with us, we give them the options as to whether you want to pay on the 15th, whether you want to pay on the 30th as exists, or whether you want to split the two payments. So the bank system is robust enough to facilitate that. So if the customer say, listen, I am prepared to split my loan obligation into two, when half it, so at the first half, you can say, if your payment is $400 and you want to pay two, you can do the one on the 15th and one on the 30th. So there is no cost for the customer to do that in terms of multiple deposits to the account. We don't have charges for deposits to account. So once you get a letter, you can engage your relationship officer, your credit officer, and they would guide you in terms of the best decision that you would make. But key though is to look at your cash flows, look at your obligation as an individual, and see when some bills are due, see when others are due, and then make that determination with your officer as to how the payment would best suit your cash flow needs. And we are there to reach out. We have started the reach out process already, and we'll continue to do so to have tailored arrangements for all our customers that have split salary payment.
Kenny John, president of Grenada Chamber of Industry and Commerce, addressed the benefits of semi-monthly payments.
Generally do believe that is good for the point of view that to stimulate the economy, money in people's hands, generally they would not find it so burdensome to wait till the end of the month. Think about commitments of people who have young children, for example. It would make sure that they can sustain the activity of that, be it daycare, be it buying supplies for the kids. That helps in that regard. What we have to do as a nation is make sure that we manage our affairs, and it goes for everything else. But generally, I think it's a good idea because it's not just Grenada. It happens all over the world, and some places actually, even before this pronouncement, a lot of business places would pay certain workers, not everybody, but certain workers and certain sectors of the private sector definitely would have.
All right, so workers will receive their first payments on April 14, 2023, given that April 15 falls on a Saturday. The story to report, the Royal Grenada Police Force is advocating adherence to its no-burn policy as the dry season intensifies. The fire department says there is an increase in bushfires, which puts a strain on the already limited sources of water. The no-burn policy took effect on April 1. Christelina John has this report.
The Royal Grenada Police Force is admonishing citizens to employ other means of disposing of waste as the dry season is taxing water sources. Grenada is currently experiencing what may be deemed drought-like conditions, and already the fire department is reporting an increase in bushfires.
Period. Having done a comparison recently for our quarterly report, we have a decrease of some 13 fires, generally speaking. However, in terms of bush bushfires, we have an increase of 11 fires. So that means that persons are actually setting fires which are getting out of control more so and going into the growing reality, causing it to be classified as a bushfire.
That was Sergeant Adrian Panchu, officer attached to the fire department. With that increase in fires, this necessitates extra resources. The officer touched on the challenges they now face.
Stands right now, the major challenge is that of the fact that we have to respond to so many emergencies, and it's not just a challenge to the fire department. I think one of the major concerns nationally would be that of our water reserve. Right? I think persons, if you listen on the radio and television, you hear now us speaking about valve regulation and so forth. And it's the same treated water that we use to fight fires. So the more fires we have, that means that we would have to use that same water that you could be using for domestic purposes to extinguish those fires. Additionally, you have the issue of the environment. Right? Everybody knows what is presently on the agenda, the whole aspect of eco-friendly, going green and so forth. And the more fires you have, it would actually deplete the ozone layer. So that's another concern, not more so for the fire department directly, but we have to think nationally and internationally as well.
Touching on structural fires, Sergeant Pancho says a number of those could have been avoided. He notes that most are accidental, resulting from malfunctioning appliances that are left plugged in circuits.
As recent as maybe 2-3 days ago, I did an investigation, and it was an electrical standing fan that was left plugged in. Now the fan, most people, they would take off the fan, but they're not switching off the outlet itself. So when you do that, what happens is that the electricity is still going to the fan, and it's not being used, because when the fan is working, the electricity is being used. The electricity creates a lot of heat, and if it's going to the fan, not being used, the heat actually increases, and over a period of time you can have ignition, and that is what happens in some instances. So the whole aspect of turning off appliances before leaving the house is very critical. So the whole aspect of if you have a piece of electrical equipment that is malfunctioning, or your electrical installation has some issue, the breaker is tripping or so forth, it is very important that you use a qualified technician. A lot of the times persons try to save money and call a friend who can maybe check things. I normally call them fly-by-night electricians. You try to save $100, and at the end of the day it costs you a couple $1,000, because sometimes you lose a whole room, some instances an entire house, which might be in the range of $100,000. So this.
The officer urged individuals to cooperate with the no-burn policy and first seek permission for agricultural fires from that ministry. Christelina John, GBN News.
A historical educational journey led by archaeologist Jonathan Hanna. Time for ISOR.
A good eye catches all. GBN ISOR is brought to you by Clear Vision.
Life is beautiful if only you can see it. Clear Vision Eye Center helps you do just that. We provide expert service, classy eyewear, and cutting-edge technology, all with a quality customer experience. See better, feel better, and look better. Meet us today at clearvisiongrenada.com or call 444-0055.
Tonight's ISOR submission comes from archaeologist with the Grenada Museum, Jonathan Hanna. Hanna submitted photographs from an archaeological salvage excavation of an Amerindian burial on Moncraven Beach, Cities, on April 2nd, 2023. He said ever since the breakwater was built, the area suffered extreme erosion, losing over 50 meters of beach since 2017. Aside from people's homes, there was also a large Amerindian burial ground there. The archaeologist said about 40 human burials have been recovered from the site in total, but there was likely over 100 individuals interred originally. He said each one contains priceless information about the people who once called Grenada home. Assisting were members of the Cities arm of the Grenada Public Archaeology Network, GPAN. Send us your photo and video submissions via WhatsApp at 405-3052 or our other social media platforms.
On Saturday, April 15th, the National Stadium will rock.
I'm not going to a circus, I'm not going to a fair.
As Q West, Spectrum, and Starboys present Digicel Reggae Fest, the big show. Featuring for the first time in Grenada, Shabba Ranks.
Reggae people stalling out. I know me roots and culture.
Coffee.
Coffee come in like a rapture, and everybody get captured.
Romaine Virgo.
Baby, I wanna be so provider.
Grants Morgan.
Have I shown
Marcia Griffiths.
I shall sing as long as
Grenada's own Tamara Songbird, Akeem, and a special international guest. Tier 1 tickets are $120. Limited VIP $500. Includes reserved parking, a variety of food offerings, and premium drinks. Tickets available at box offices island-wide or online at gotofet.com. Digicel Reggae Fest. Saturday, April 15th, National Cricket Stadium. Sponsored by Digicel, the bigger, better network. Network.
Sisson's WeatherGuard Pro. For every project, there's only one Pro.
Maroon and String Band Music Festival, Friday, April 28th to Sunday the 30th. 3 days of intense and rich cultural diversity on display. Day 1, Friday, April 28th, Bialo Village, 6 a.m. The opening rituals, wetting of the ground and blowing the shell. 3 p.m. sharing of the smoked food, Saraka style, into the flambeau parade and official opening ceremony. Day 2, Saturday from 11 a.m. Strings in the City, downtown Hillsborough transforms with the sweetness of live string band music. Then at 7:30 p.m. we all journey to the Botanical Gardens for cultural explosion, and the night ends with a stirring performance from Sabrina Francis and Solid the Band. Sunday, April 30th, day 3, Sunday's party night. It's all about the bands from 4 p.m. at Paradise Beach. Come see performances from cultural groups and Kiriku's live bands. It's a long weekend, so we're gonna make it an all-nighter. Saturday tickets cost $40. Sunday tickets cost $20. Groups of 10 pays a special price, $50. Kirikou Maroon and String Band Music Festival. Let's celebrate our traditions and culture. They fortify us against adversities.
And so it begins. A journey like none other. Every moment has the potential to be unforgettable. Bring home a piece of the tropical green forest with every emerald. Capture the sparkling light of flawless water in a diamond. Make the sunrise and sunsets last forever. With precious colored gemstones, the essence of happiness is in our most precious memories. So, when it all comes to an end, bring home something that will last forever. Colombian Emeralds International. Bring home more than a memory.
Join us on Caribbean Medical TV as we discuss a topic close to the heart of our Caribbean people and hear the experiences from the leading experts in the region about heart disease, the major contributing factors, what to look for, and why we are seeing heart attacks in younger men and women. Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV right here on this station.
Records at the traffic department shows that a total of 1,447 accidents were reported for the year 2012, which includes 3 road fatalities. 2,946 accidents were reported for the year 2022, which includes 8 road fatalities. This is a significant increase of 104%. This is alarming. When a family tragically loses a loved one, does it matter whether by means of a gun or a motor vehicle? To avoid accidents, drivers and pedestrians alike must exercise extreme caution when using the road.
All right, welcome back, viewers and listeners, to the conversation this morning. And this morning we are going to start off with a bang. This morning I've got with me on the Zoom platform the Public Relations Officer of the Grenada Steelpan Association, Mr. Derek James, and we're talking Steelpan for a bit. You know, we've got Pan Expressions coming up this weekend. Good morning, Mr. James. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Good morning to you and to the listeners. And let me say thanks for having me this bright and early Friday morning.
Well, and it's reflective on your face, man. You look bright and sunny yourself. Yeah.
What's I'm following your pattern, brother.
All right. Good. So before we get into the actual Pan Expressions conversation, how is Steelpan in Grenada at the moment? How are things progressing?
Well, you know, after Hurricane
Corona.
Hurricane Corona. After the pandemic, you know, Steelpan has taken a low in terms of the practicing and preparing themselves for different events. But I could tell you right now, we think we're back on the pre-COVID level of Pan participation in terms of practicing, number of people playing and so on. If you look at Carnival last year, we had a drop in our numbers in terms of membership.
Right.
And we see the increase now. A lot of the bands gone back to the pre-COVID level in terms of the practicing. A lot of young people, children, learning to play pan, and like angel harps and comancheros and new dimension and so on. They have special programs for those children. And we really love to see it. I mean, I could tell you there's a young girl, she's about 7 years. She's been begging her grandfather to get a pan for her to practice in she house. And we had to go and try to help her to get a pan. And that is the interest, I mean, that we have seen now. And we hope to go around the island helping other bands. We have a band in Sotez that want to be part of Panorama this year. So the association have to look into helping these bands and really would like to get some of the business community to come out more and sponsor some of these bands, especially the small bands, so that they could develop into the bands like the likes of Angel Harps and Comancheros and so on. You know, we really would like to appeal to the business community to help, because it's a good way of developing discipline for children.
Yeah.
And it's not like the days gone back when you see a lot of people leave work and going to practice and play pan. I used to play pan for many years, and we used to play pan after work or we were in secondary school. But now you've seen a lot of children in primary school, and so we expect parents to be an integral part of this development.
One of the things I've always advocated for is the revamping of our school's curriculum. Where music would be an integral part of it from as early as the primary school level, because I don't think, I think that our current curriculum is to old-fashioned in that it's mostly academia. And if you look at what's happening around the world nowadays, the people with academics are not necessarily the richest folks. You know, you have the people in the performing arts that are making more money than anything else. The sports and performing arts. You look at Jay-Z and those guys, they're billionaires. You look at Michael Jordan, you know, and even this, you know, musicians, music, you know, Pavarotti and those guys, they make millions. All right. Yes, it's good to have a complement of the education, the academic per se, but I would love to see, you know, music get in on the school's curriculum. And I mean full-fledged, just as mathematics and English. You know, steel band, I mean, in my opinion, steel band music should be taught in schools. I know when the late David Peck Edwards was alive, he had some initiatives where he went to the schools and communities and tried to, you know, get people involved in steel band. But is the current steel band association making any moves, or do you see that on the horizon forthcoming that, you know, steel band would be more at the fingertips of people?
Well, we are trying to, first of all, to get a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Culture. And that is in the draft stages, and we hope to conclude that pretty soon with the ministry. And we're also hoping to get back the PAN officer, the steel band officer in the Ministry of Culture, to go back like the same job that David Peck Edwards was doing. We're hoping that that will be established pretty soon. If you look at the amount of children, as I said earlier, that are playing pan, there's no reason why we should not have pans in the school. And not just pan, as you said, music, because you see the likes of Dash and the other Calypsonians and singers. When I move around today in the like go to a bar or so on, and you see this live music, so many people playing music, so many singers. There's no reason why we cannot maintain that level of culture in our society by teaching the music in the schools. I think it's very important, because music also brings a certain degree of discipline.
Yep.
And it's also that you could learn children to read the music. It's not just playing, but also to read music. You know, that is also critical for the development of our culture. And so I hope that the work we are doing, we hope we could work with the ministry and get that going on the line of PAN and other, I hope the Calypsonians and so on. And I always believe that Calypso, as an art form, should be the one that should be taught in schools and not soca, because Calypso gives you a bigger, the challenge. Soca could give you 2 lines or 3 lines and so on, and you're good to go. But and you could develop from the Calypso, go into the soca. But so I think that even in the school with the soca competition, I believe that should be Calypso competition in the schools from Carnival. So I think music on a whole, we have to look at it holistic and not just in one area of like steel one or Calypso or soca. We should look at music in a holistic form for the development of our children.
Hence the reason why I said it should be, you know, important and as focused as mathematics and English, because I've gone past the stage where I like to hear somebody ring on a guitar. Yeah, I'm fascinated by that. But I want to know that I can come as a Calypsonian myself. I want to know that I can come and give you my score sheets and we can work, instead of me having to continuously sing while you run down the frets and looking for my cards and so forth. So I want it to be as, you know, as frontal as you, the way you teach mathematics, the way you teach chemistry and so forth. I would love to see that. But let's move on from that. That is a conversation to be had.
Certainly.
Yeah. Are you certain, being around in the helm of the PAN Association now, are you happy that steel band is on the right path for future development?
I believe that it is on the right path, but there's also, you have seen it sometimes, not too long ago, it has been on the decline. I don't think that PAN is fully accepted in our society, even if it's the only instrument we as Caribbean people owns. So I believe there's a lot of work to be done, and it starts with us as member of the Steelpan Association, the Steelpan Association in particular. It starts with us to really get the knowledge of PAN out there to people. I think we could do better when it comes to the support for pan in the country. I will not say pan is on a decline, because when you look at the amount of young children playing pan today, there's hope. It's just that we now have to develop the structures and education about the pan, because there's no reason why you have so many children playing pan and you don't see the parents around. And I was so impressed on last week. We met, the association met with New Dimension, and there is somebody on a governing body that represents parents. That is critical. It tells you that we have a lot of hope. We have a good future for the development of pan in Grenada.
Okay, it's interesting that you raised that point. I want you to just stay right there. I want to play a little piece of a track, and I can't believe that even at this age we are still experiencing that sort of resentment or lackluster approach and appreciation and acceptance for pan. Do you remember this song?
Steelpan music is here to stay. Steelpan music, don't care what they say. Since in the old days, them rusty pan still pulsating, packed with rhythm. When you hear the doo-doo beating, and the leaping bum with that feeling, feel like an only all this time my body is waking. But when the Iron Man comes, it's everybody gone crazy, shaking their body, whining slowly, rolling their belly. The rhythm of the steel band caused the confusion. Steel band all over the land.
Where did we go wrong? I remember as a youngster growing up at Pearls, the top of the Pearls Airport. I had to run away. I know I get whip when I come back, but Carnival time, there was a pan side inside of Paradise. I think it was Volume 2. And they played pan on the streets. People were, pulling that carriage with the pan. But where did it go? Where did we lose that?
I'll tell you where we lost it. The introduction of amplified DJ music on the streets. I remember playing pan, when I used to play pan and we playing for Carnival, we had to fight with the then Carnival committee, fight with them to prevent DJs from playing on the side of the road. And DJs used to play the music, and then at least we'd start getting this to the situation where they would stop when the bands come around. And sometimes I remember one particular time we had to go and pull the power cord from a DJ because he would not stop. So we went wrong by allowing the introduction of these large amplified songs on the road. And people know, I'm not saying right now they don't have a place, but we forgot. We left behind that music, the love for that music. Last Carnival, we tried to do a lot of things for pan on the street. And I want to compliment the past chairman of Spice Mart, Mr. Ali Gale, for that. And we had to struggle because nobody wanted to pull a pan. Nobody wanted to jump with a band. And so we have to go back and find a way to really put Steelpan back where it belongs in Carnival. And if we don't do that, what we're seeing today is the Japanese and so on taking our pan music and making more use of it than us. If we don't stop the erosion of that part of our culture, we are going to cry in later days to come. So I think we went wrong by how some of the modernized, as you may call it, songs for Carnival, and they have not really given equal attention to Steelpan music as we develop. And I mean, you look at the days when you're talking about when you used to go to polls and so on and you run away and so on. Every weekend we used to find a place to go and listen to pan music, even if it's in Harvest or in Blockos and things like that. Today, the first thing somebody will call when they organize an event like that is a DJ.
Right. Right. Let me ask you, as we sort of and coming to the end, so we want to talk about the pan expression. But let me ask you this: do you think, and I'm going to be very pointed with this, the advent of our new Spicemas CEO, Mr. Cecil Noel, who by virtue is a pan enthusiast himself, do you think that him being at the helm, you expect to see certain remodeling and restructuring to ensure that pan gets its fair share in Carnival?
Yes, I have high hopes. In fact, there's some indication to that. And that is one of the reasons why we want to ensure that we develop some activities before Carnival with pan, so we could really increase the interest of pan and show people that pan has this put back its rightful place in Carnival. So I want to wish Cecil all the best, and I think Cecil has pan in his heart. Cecil is pan, like David Peck Edwards and others and so on.
No, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. In his heart, you said? I think Cecil did I think he did a blood test and it showed pan positive.
Blood, yes. Yes, and I'm happy to see that, because, you know, a lot of times you have somebody who came up in the art form, in the form of calypso or other forms, to run in these kind of organizations. To see pan take a pan man take the lead is a good thing for us. It's a really good thing for us, and we have to work with him to ensure the success of not just pan but Carnival.
What makes me feel even more comfortable is the fact that he's not just a pan man, but he's a pan man with depth. You know, so he's not just going to look at pan on the surface. He's going to look at it holistically. That's what I'm certain about. Nonetheless, Pan Expression comes up this weekend. Give me some information on Pan Expression.
Well, Pan Expression, as you know, it started off years ago in 2002, if I'm correct, with what they call the bomb competition, and it was part of the Carnival activities, Pan Carnival, leading up to Carnival. But we have decided to change the name to Pan Expressions and place it not in the calendar of Carnival, but outside of that, to help in the development of the interest, to get people interested in it. And so this Sunday will be the first edition of Pan Expression after COVID. So, as you know, recently we had Pan on the Sand, and that was the first event coming back after COVID. Now we have Pan Expressions, and we do hope that this Sunday will be a Sunday that people will remember, because remember, it's a competition.
Right.
It's a competition, and all the bands will be playing one song, one competing song. Then they play another song, what we call like a warm-up song, they will play, and then they hit the competition song. All the music will not be calypsos this time. It's not calypso. It will be any other form of music. Could be reggae, could be classic, whatever it is, but must be played in calypso tempo.
Oh,
so it will be a very interesting thing to see how the creativity of the arrangers in this one.
Wow! And what are the prizes like?
Well, we have a trophy we give to the bands every time we have this competition. That will be they take that trophy to go home with, so they have the bragging rights. Then we have $7,000 for the first prize, $6,500 for the second, and $5,500 for the third. And the other bands will receive $5,000 as appearance fees. So you know, it's more than just the prices. It's about bringing music to the public, and so I hope that the public will see that as being a time for the family to come out and support our bandmen. I mean, it's $20 for the entrance fee for adults and $10 for children. You know, so we're looking forward to it.
Okay, and what is the feeling like on the ground? What are you picking up? Tickets have been on sale for a while now.
I have started picking up a lot of interest. A lot of people been talking about it since we start doing a lot of our PR work and so on, and the advertisements, the interviews and so on. We have seen interest, and I mean, for example, yesterday, some 10 persons called me for tickets yesterday.
Wow!
You know, so that shows, it gives me a sense that there's interest there, and also Remember that Pan on the Sand has been a huge success, and people have been calling for more Pan activities. So this is another one for them. So we expect that the success we had at Pan on the Sand, we will have the same success come Sunday. So it's a time, as I said before, there's a lot of young people playing Pan, so we expect the parents to come out and bring the siblings of those playing Pan to here and bring the auntie, bring the granny and so on. It's a family event, and we hope for good weather for Sunday.
I'm going to give you an advice pro bono, right? I see that expression.
For the love of fun.
Decentralize this thing. You notice, I don't know if you noticed that, but last year, although we did not have a Dimash, we had a Calypso Finals competition. All right? But it was not in St. George. It was in St. Andrew. It was in Progress Park. Do some decentralizing. Take Pan through the parishes, and you might just find that there will be another parish that might be more receptive to Pan than what we get where it is. Spread the thing,
Yeah, I agree with you. In fact, when we met this week, as I go back to New Dimension again, that was a discussion we had. And to move it around the place, we have to move it. Because I remember when I was playing Pan, we used to go in St. David, we used to go in Surtees, we used to go all around the country. And I think it's something we should develop a program and take your advice and try to see if we could develop a program so we could move Pan around the island in time for Carnival. So we will get interested. And it's good that we have bands in Grand Roy, and we have one in Florida, and we have in Surtees and so on. So that in itself will assist in the development of those bands out there.
Because my take on this, right, as we wrap up, you might, if you do that, we know that St. Andrew is the home of Calypso now, because the response that we had in the Calypso Finals last year, we did not have that in quite a while in terms of crowd response and interaction, right? Even the attendance. So we know that, I'm taking in front, we're living the Dimash in Progress Park, all right? You might just realize if you go through the parishes, you might just realize that Steelpan music might find its home in Guave, and the fancy mass might just have its home in St. George's, on the street in St. George's. So imagine that we have the big shebang Carnival Monday and Tuesday in St. George, we have the Calypso in St. Andrew, and we have Steelpan in Guave in St. John.
We must always remember that St. George is not the country. It's only one parish.
That is the point.
And so we have to move things around. And I agree with you.
I'll drink to that. I'll have a sip of coffee to that.
Well, I want to make sure that when we come into your parish, you'll be the chief organizer for us in that parish.
You have 1,000,000% support from me. I love to hear that. So once again, as we wrap up, I want to wish you and the team, Mr. Jeremiah, Mr. Ashby, and the rest of the team, that plan well, execute well. There is something in the air that this year could be the year when Panorama hit the spot again. And I'm looking forward, not just to Panorama, but the holistic development of Pan again, the reemergence.
And I want to use the opportunity to thank you for highlighting Pan in your program on Saturday mornings. I get up in the morning just to listen to your Pan. In fact, sometimes I'll be going on the beach early in the morning and listen to your program. I want to thank you for really highlighting Pan, and I wish that more of that will be done in the other radio stations. Thank you very much for your support, and I look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Well, definitely. I'm going there since Saturday night.
We make sure we put a bed in for you.
Mr. James, thanks for dropping by.
My brother, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
And enjoy the weekend. Looking forward to seeing you Sunday.
Yeah, and keep listening tomorrow as well. We're going to have a ball tomorrow. Right?
Certainly.
As a matter of fact, we might even give away 2 tickets for the Pan Expressions tomorrow.
Correct.
On the West Indian Marketplace, yes. Yeah? Good. So
thank you.
All the best. Bring my regards. Okay.
Thank you, brother.
Folks, this is where we wrap it up. I've been speaking there with Mr. Derek James. He is the Public Relations Officer at the Grenada Steelpan Association. We take a quick commercial break and then we come back with more of the conversation. Don't you go anywhere.
Boy, yo, they gonna fly with kite now. The wind picking up.
I'm coming. Karim, what you doing? Fly my kite. Yeah, but not here. You can't fly kite near power lines, boy. Why not? The wind good. Because mommy say kite threads conduct electricity.
Yeah, kite. It's right. If your kite gets stuck in power lines, it can cause power outages, or even worse, it can get shocked.
Come, let's go and fly them in the pasture.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Grenlink, energizing our Grenada.
Are you or your organization interested in becoming an environmental protection and conservation volunteer? Well, this is your opportunity to serve. The Grenada Sustainable Development Trust Fund invites you and your organization to the launch of its Ecosystems Conservation Volunteer Program on Tuesday, April 18th, 2023 at the Grenada Trade Center Annex from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Keynote speaker, Mr. Van Bern Harry, CEO of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Conservation Fund. He will share the experience of SVG and how their program has helped to revolutionize efforts there. Come hear more on how you can become involved in this great initiative and pledge your participation by registering to become a volunteer. For more information, call telephone number 459-9402 or 410-1682 or email us at info@gsdtf.org or ceo@gsdtf.org. The Grenada Sustainable Development Trust Fund looks forward to partnering with you.
Affordable quality products delivered to you via Superb Service. We are Superb Distributors, wholesalers and authorized agents for trusted products you know and love, like Rika Juices, Pure Heaven products, Bibbin diapers, New Bright laundry detergent, Allegra pasta, and more.
Contact Superb Distributors at 435-2948 for superb quality and service.
Welcome to the highly anticipated second season of Caribbean Medical TV, the first and only medical TV series that showcases the Caribbean and the emerging issues on all health and wellness forums in our region. Like season 1, the voices of our very own citizens, our local and regional doctors and medical experts forged the basis of the show. This season, we take the first groundbreaking original show even further. This series aims to empower our people with knowledge, from ways of detecting to ways of healing ourselves, protecting citizens with chronic diseases from COVID-19, while showing how they can manage their conditions effectively and safely receive needed health care while preserving what constitutes the very core of our Caribbean culture, its predilection for flavor, spirit, and rhythm. This is truly a holistic wellness agenda for our Caribbean people.
Stomp out careless or intentional bushfires, dead out. Youths, hunters, smokers, let's prevent bushfires. Here's why.
Yeah, bushfires. The shoreline's wet, crops should be bushfires. Can lead to food scarcity, threatened biodiversity, cause water shortage, water calamity. Bushfires in watersheds deplete water quality, threaten property, life and security. Bushfires set intentionally, water sanity.
Bushfires can cost millions in losses annually and are often caused by careless or intentional actions indictable under the law. Forests are life-giving. Save them. A message from the Fire Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force and the Caribbean Open Trade Support.
No, that's not how you cross the pedestrian crossing.
Really? One day I just woke up and I saw pedestrian crosswalks on the road. No one really showed me how to use them properly.
Well, this is how it's done. You never cross before doing these things. They might save your life. First, First, when you get to the crosswalk, you stop. You look left, you look right. If there's a vehicle coming, you put your hand out, making eye contact with the driver, indicating that you want to cross. And only when the vehicle comes to a complete stop, you quickly cross to the other side.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact. Wait for pedestrian to cross to the other side, then you happily continue on your journey. This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
All right, welcome back, viewers and listeners. Welcome back to the conversation. Let's continue the conversation. Before I do that, I'd like to take the opportunity and say happy birthday to you, Miss Theresa McMayo of Aspley Hill. You got greetings coming from your entire Aspley Hill family and your family in Tobago. Happy birthday to you. All right. Okay. Someone says here the primary difference between Grenada Pan and Trinidad Pan is they spent money that caused them to love it. Okay. All right. And yeah. Right. Good. Someone asked, and I hope Mr. James is still listening. Pan is struggling. Still, orchestra need an injection of funds to get instruments, and also we need training of young arrangers. Why is there only 4 steel orchestra in the competition? All right, that's a question that I hope Mr. James and his team, look into. Why is there only 4? All right. Also, that's from our WhatsApp platform. Good morning, Innocent and GBN. Happy to have you serving us here and abroad. Stay blessed. Thank you very much. Someone says, good morning. These are the steel orchestras at Pan Expressions on Sunday. Order of appearance, Grand Roy Pan Angels. They're doing Sweet Caroline. Nexa New Dimensions doing Fantasy. Republic Bank, Angel Harps. Could You Be Loved? And Co-op Bank Comancheros. This Is Why I Love You. Oh my goodness. That's great. Okay, quickly on our Facebook page, Ernesto Jose. Last night I happened to listen to the leader of the opposition, Keith Claudius Mitchell, who been interviewed by 3 journalists, and it was a big joke, a down show, clown show with lies and deceits. Should be deceits, but you have the sides. All right. He loved lifting up people, but he forgotten what he did to Nas. Any case. Ernesto, now please try not to put me in cattle belly crossway, all right? Okay, so there are a number of issues that I know you'd wanted to have a conversation on, to converse on. We did not have a real conversation for the week. We've been very, very, very busy. That's good. All right. So let's see what you want to talk about. Remember, the word for the day today is foible, and the thought of the day. A normal person will focus on the worries of next month or next year, but a wise person will focus on the opportunities in the next 24 hours that would avoid them from having the worries in the next 6 months or next year and so forth. All right, those were the thought of the day. All right, we heard that a man was discovered hanging in Grand Bacolet. I extended condolences to the family. And media fraternity in Grenada is getting some much needed attention as government includes media workers in its minimum wage discussions. That's one of the buzzing stories. We see Sabrina Francis will be performing at the Royal Albert Hall in London. That's kudos for us. Pan, now Sabrina, and then we have, oh my goodness. And the first installment of semi-monthly payments for government employees and pensioners will roll out today. So there's quite a number. There are a number of stories that are buzzing. The RGPF is advocating adherence to its no burn policy as the dry season intensifies. Give me a call, 435-2041, and let's have a conversation. Good morning.
Morning, innocent and morning to you, listeners and traders.
Welcome to the program.
It's necessary to really compliment the young lady yesterday, the young woman, Miss Krasinski, who I think you should bring back if she wants to come back. To help inspire our young people. Because she said a few things which is so true. The fact, the lack of it, the fact that when you don't read, you tend to suffer from imagination. And you can imagine a whole nation not reading. So you can imagine why we don't have, there's little sign of imagination among our people. So I just thought that was so important. She mentioned the library. She mentioned Sea Change, which is, these two places are dear to me. When she said about the smell, it shows somebody who have a deep interest and who really speaking from a lived experience. Okay. So I hope that we use that. In fact, I follow her on your entity before, and I'm very impressed with her, and I wish we had more young people and others who could really set the tone for the next generation. So I know I can't take the whole morning, but I wanted to really say that. And I thought that you should have followed her when she said some of the key things, but maybe there wasn't time for that. But I really enjoyed the program yesterday, and then it was followed by Mr. Derricks and the other lady. It's good.
Thanks. Have a good one, man. 13 minutes on to 8 o'clock. Alistair Warwood says, happy birthday to Jodine Sylvester, student of Anglican High School, head of the books baby. All right. Wow. Happy birthday, Jodine. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I'm calling concerning the Salaka in Riverside. Do they have transportation to take the people there to and from that?
I cannot speak very... Are you there? Okay, she hung up. Well, I cannot speak authoritatively on whether they have transportation to carry people to and from, because it's a private event. I think they will expect public transportation to suffice. All right? Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning.
Welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you. I was outside feeding my animals, so I'm not sure what the topic is about.
What animals do you have?
Right, but I have something to talk about, if that's okay.
Go right ahead. Be brief.
Right. People listen within the last few days, we all been hyping up all our artists in terms of singers, our sports personnel. But we have something that is brewing in Grenada, or take root in Grenada, that a lot of us is taking for granted, and that is vagrancy. And, you walk around St. George's, I suppose in most of the towns they might be the same, but let's talk about St. George's. You walk around town and there's a lot of vagrants walking around the town. And I stop some of them and ask myself, how these people survive on a daily basis? What do they eat? You see they pick up things from garbage bins. You see they pick up things from the street and you put straight into their mouth. A lot of people pass them and pay no mind to them. The unfortunate thing about it is that we not take into consideration these people, when they fall sick, they go to the health department to get seen to. We, the taxpayers, have to pay for that. The same people who are ignoring them, as the money, some parts, whatever little they contribute to taxes, pay for that. And unfortunately, it seems as though, and this could be from the top, from the government perspective, I wonder if they can have some sort of institution where they could pick up these people or ask them to come to get something, even though it's 1 meal a day. That probably would keep them away from digging the garbage bins and probably begging. There are other issues that way. Some of these people might have talent that you could investigate them, and then you can put tasks somewhere within that same institution where they could learn to do certain things or whatever talent they have, and they could go and sell it on the street. Not they sell it, but you have it sold, that money go back to help them. Because some people, after a while, it could be mental, it could be just because they just willfully want to do it, but at least I think somebody should do something about it.
So in essence, you think we should start seeing some shelters?
Yes, I believe so, definitely. And I'll come up with this topic now. We have one vagrant that I know personally that travel the streets nearly every single day. And unfortunately, this guy, I don't know whether it's our ignorance or whether it's the health system see them or the people see him as nothing. But this guy walk around town with this big thing hanging from him. I don't know if our terminology they call it a macacu. I don't know what is the scientific name for it.
It's a hernia, right?
Right.
A scrotal hernia.
Yeah. Have you seen how big it is?
Well, I tend to look the other way when I see that because it's not very sightly for me.
You shouldn't, because the point is, this guy was a Calypsonian.
Really?
I'm telling you, we all used to go to the Queen's Park and listen to him sing. His Calypso name was Culture.
Wow.
And we used to enjoy it. We used to laugh. I as a 65-year-old used to go and enjoy it, listen to him. I know he's a vagrant on the street and people pass him straight. So all those my whole thing about it. Look at all the sports personnel we hyping up. They could be a vagrant one day. I could be a vagrant one day. Just by the tilt of your brain, you don't know what you'll end up. And I believe we need to put a system in place when some of these people come around that we can help. The general public as a whole should come on board. And I believe Grenadans is not that bad. If a proper system in place,
wow.
I believe they will help contribute towards it.
Well, I'm happy that you called, because that statement you made that he was involved in the culture, it rearranged something in my head right away. I'm happy you raised that.
I'll give you his proper name, as I know him when I was going to school with him, was Stephen Pierre.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, and not because of him, because I am one who don't shun vagrants.
Okay.
But I believe the Grenadian public as a whole are not that bad.
Okay.
We know that.
All right.
I think we have a good nature.
Okay.
That if a proper system is put in place, I believe they will help contribute towards the welfare of these people, because some of them are mental.
Yeah.
There may be more than one reason.
Okay.
You know how you could become a vagrant?
No, I don't want to know.
You don't want to know. You could have a problem. You could have problems that you can't deal with. And it went to your head, and your brain just tilts.
While you might be correct, but that can't happen to me, because when I have a problem, I go upstairs.
Never say never.
Take it to the Lord in prayer, papi.
I always do, but never. My whole take on it is that I believe at the end of the day, we have to look for the less fortunate at times.
Of course, and I do agree.
Canadians is good enough that the same way we look towards the people who are making it.
Yeah.
The people who have been there and for whatever reason they reach where they are.
The little that you do to the least among you. All right. Okay.
You see what happened this morning? You see what happened yesterday? What was topic on this morning in the news? That this guy, probably the guy, whether it was alcohol or whether it's stress,
all right.
he hung himself.
Okay. Caller, thank you.
No problem.
Have a great weekend, all right?
You too.
Good. All right. One of my WhatsApp users says, "Good morning, Mr. Innocent. I want to wish happy birthday to Roxanne Boris from her loving daughter, Kiona." Happy birthday, Roxanne. Mommy loves you, and no, your daughter loves you, rather. Yeah. Okay, good morning, Innocent. It's a burning shame of what some people go through in their endeavor to keep us safe and our environment clean. Yesterday, I personally witnessed the high scale of disrespect and ignorance displayed by a young man at River Road to the people who came in my neighborhood cleaning his and his neighbor's filth. For 3 hours, that boy abused those workers to the point where they left the filthy stench drains behind his house as he threatened them and calling them nasty. How low are we? Man, I tell you, together, I tell you, another one threw back the mud in a drain close to his place. I'm asking the Ministry of Health to come in there and change these people or charge these people for littering and dumping their rubbish, old oil, etc., along with the mud they dig out of their place. That was a comment from or WhatsApp platform. Let's take a final commercial break in the segment, and then we come back with the wrap. Don't you go anywhere.
Wait to see my granddaughter.
Records at the traffic department shows that a total of 1,447 accidents were reported for the year 2012, which includes 3 road fatalities. 2,946 accidents were reported for the year 2022, which includes 8 road fatalities. This is a significant increase of 104%. This is alarming. When a family tragically loses a loved one, does it matter whether by means of a gun or a motor vehicle? To avoid accidents, drivers and pedestrians alike must exercise extreme caution when using the road.
You know, one day I woke up and, they painted a set of pedestrian crossing all along the streets. Nobody told us how to use that thing properly.
I know how.
You're serious?
Every safe, good driver knows about these things. As a driver, you have to be very attentive. You know you're coming up close to a pedestrian cross, you start slowing down immediately, looking to see if there's any pedestrian on the side getting ready to cross. If there is, you stop on the line that is a certain distance before the crosswalk. Then you would see the pedestrian put their hands out, looking directly at you, indicating that they are going to cross. And only when you have come to a complete stop, that is when they will quickly and safely cross to the other side. And then you continue happily on your journey.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact, wait for pedestrian to cross. Then you happily continue on your journey. This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
You mentioned the wing high, then you have things like manual must come back, We have the low power that.
It is kind of like the same man, and it's just different name for the same kind of thing.
And last but not least, I just want to say to all the men who saw me, call me, and ask for a piece of cake. I'm baking this weekend.
Join us Fridays at 8 on GBN Television, K105 FM, GBN's Facebook page, and YouTube channel for We Culture.
All right, folks, this is where we've got to wrap it up this morning and for the week. Those of you who participated one way or the other, we thank you very much for being a part of the conversation, and good morning, Grenada. And if the good Lord spare our lives, we'll do it again not tomorrow. Tomorrow we've got the West Indian Marketplace from 6. But on Monday, should the good Lord spare our lives, we'll have another conversation. So thank you very much for being a part of it. Bye for now. Bye-bye.